Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Movers and Shakers here. Um, Quick roll call recap, and we'll dive right on in. Sergeant Tanaka,
Yes, present.
Specialist Gage, and Sergeant Warren,
Yep.
Specialist Finn,
Hi.
and PFC Kovac.
Hello.
All right. So, where we last left off, the party having it went from one checkpoint there on the border wall into effectively no man's land, catching the mobile checkpoint. Stayed for the night, got yourself some chow. Cold showers were all that was provided. Um, got a little bit of intel, and as well as uh, passed along intel in regards to a request made by the commander of the border wall checkpoint. From there, you have set yourselves rubber back down, pedal to the metal, heading towards the city. Um, you had yourselves an encounter between checkpoints with some of the deformed biomass, um, as well as took some time to go over and sort of get a better understanding of the various toys that the Klein Medical, as well as your specific commander had given you over to you. And that's where we were picking up is as the tires are kicking up, the heavy ash and dust. Kovac driving under the visuals of the camera, uh, windows up. I would assume for the most part, the side bolt windows locked in place. Um, it is still very early in the morning, as best as the clock and your various time telling devices are able to describe for you.
Is it early enough for the night vision to be switched off?
It's bright enough that you can choose to use either night vision or the lack thereof. Um, Both providing relatively equal perception at this hour.
Do I have a thermal uh
You haven't kicked it
screen?
on, but yes, you do.
Am I able to kick it on and like put it in the corner, like shrink it and put it in a corner of my view? I don't know how high tech this
So
is, but I'm
so
hoping.
so as you begin to flick through your camera settings, Finn, I believe, is still passenger seat for the most part, with the boys sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Both of you are just blasted by the bright orange of her screen.
Okay.
Fun. Good thing I don't have a hangover.
We'll slow down slightly from that just to before I can like flick off of
Cycle it
it.
back through, yeah. Um,
Before
Effectively, and you know this from your physical exposure to it, just yesterday. The dust, the ash in the air itself, is best as is understood a degree biological, and it itself produces a significant amount of heat, and it holds heat
Ah,
very well. As a result, which is why your cooling system in the vehicle had gone overboard. Um,
sorry, Finn.
For what?
That light. Forgot about that for a second.
Finn, the panel in front of you begins to pick up ba- matches well out of engagement range. but various packs, flocks, what hard to tell without constantly trying to adjust the scope of the sensors. Um, but it is getting more and more lively on your radar as Kovac drives a lot of you nearer and nearer to the city. There on your screen, you begin to see the distant silhouette of fallen skyscrapers overcasting as you begin to see yourselves driving through a now reclaimed suburban area. Small houses already crumbled into little more than their foundations. The one stubborn mailbox sticking up in the middle of nowhere.
Fun.
Is there any semblance of like a road, or is it still just kind of not great?
Um, you've effectively managed to fall into this outer grid layout of the suburban infrastructure. It's not great. It's obviously not been maintained since the
Mm.
collapse. Um, but
I'm trying to gauge if it's better to try and follow what road may kind of be there, or just make my own.
the vehicle doesn't appear to have any difficulties with either choice.
Okay.
Um, you don't have like the old Fugal maps to overlay or anything like that to get a straight like yes, this is where the road would have gone into the city. But you do judge that about 10 minutes, barring just with how um, collapsed trees, various raised edifices of destruction cause you to weave off your path and back, eating up just little bits of time apiece. As the boys are in the back, is there anything you three want to do as you are, again, about 10-15 minutes away from hitting the outskirts of the city itself?
Uh, I mean, nothing comes to mind. I mean, it's just writing.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything. I mean, once we kind of settle down, we can pull out. I think the drone is the most thing I haven't looked at. If people want to get familiar with stuff, but I think some of it's more save it till we really need it, till we find our target.
You would have had between if you intend to pass that on to any of your subordinates as well. You had the better part of 4 hours as Kovacs has had to twist and turn through canyons that weren't there last time. Humanity existed in this area. Places like that again ate up a lot of your travel time, as opposed to being a straight shot. So you had time to study the drone's manual of sorts.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it's but Kovac is most interested in the drone. Is that correct? Out of our group.
I mean, yeah, she'd love to read the manual and do that stuff, but not while driving.
While
I
driving,
mean, we could
utilizing a
trade.
small screen for visuals.
A little small screen every so often. Finn, can you turn the page? Just flicks it.
Scroll.
Pothole. Ba-dum. Oh shit.
Yeah, so that'd be the different challenge. I mean, we can trade. I can drive as well if you want to get
Is it allowed
familiar
to
with it
work?
while we're coming in.
Could
Otherwise,
read it
it's when.
aloud and have a story time.
Yeah, that's not fun reading material. Or maybe for you, but no, not for me.
Yeah,
Then
see
you have to make it fun.
the difference between like this manual And the manual for the climb metal stuff is there is no flashy like wall of text advert with pretty pictures. It is just a stat block, effectively.
Legal jargon.
Just no, it's just part names for reordering and maintenance, the specs for each of its modes, operating conditions. It is
Warning
full on
labels.
just a wall of tech text.
Yeah, I'm not reading that.
Tech text.
The other thing to ask is, do you plan to have Kovac pull over before getting to the city or once getting to the edge of the city?
I don't remember if we had any intel in terms of where in the city our target was at. I mean, like, obviously, like, we want to try to not raise suspicion. Anything that we aren't driving in means we have to carry it ourselves. So being able to drive in closer would be nice, but at some point we're gonna have to get out and go on foot. So I don't like. I'd like to stay, several clicks away from our target if we can. If we don't know where they're at, just in the city, then it's find a good spot near the edge to ditch it, cover it up, hide it.
Okay. I just need a survival check from whoever's trying to find that.
I could do it since I'm driving, or
Sure,
would
go for it.
Finn do it with the since they're the ones with the life sign scanner. I can't think of the word.
Who has a life sign scanner?
You.
The infrared?
The radar system that you have.
Okay. Do I see any life signs?
A lot. None of them currently moving towards you.
I like flash it to them. Like, there's a lot of these things.
I'll do this. You said survival roll.
Correct.
Like wildlife things?
That's what we got.
Should I roll it since I have the scanner in my hand?
That's what I was hinting at.
Sorry.
It's okay. I should have just said it.
You can either give her advantage without increasing the DC, or roll it yourself at an increased DC. Chirp chirp.
And goes to Finn.
Yes.
Like, if you're much better survival than
I
her,
guess increased DC.
Okay.
So is that me or her?
Her.
Okay. Sorry, making sure.
That's all right. So, water from the back. You see the girls start going back and forth at each other. Like, I think over there will be fine. Finn rotates the scan a few times. No. There's like at least 20 or so of them. Just over there. We can't do that. Well, that spot looks good. No, really can't go over there. Before a little closer than the click out that you had wanted. Kovac manages to pull up beside what looks to be a collapsed school. A large portion of the building itself is fairly intact, but it has collapsed enough that Kovac is able to kite the van in. Its engine very loud in this echo chamber sort of cavity that has been created. But as best as the radar is able to pull up it is a building devoid of any signatures.
I don't know if that's more eerie since we're out here or like comforting.
Only time will tell.
Yup.
Oh, but we get to get out of the van, so that's nice.
Yep.
I will kill the engine so that it's not this giant sound, echoing our location.
Inside an echo chamber? Yeah, that'd be great.
Mhm.
Okay. Killing the engine as a result kills the camera system, the radar system. The vehicle goes to full silent mode. And the guys who've been sitting in the back, basically sitting on crates, are able to get out and stretch their legs finally.
Yeah, I'd hop out the back, look around the area, listen for a while, and look to pull stuff out so we can get ready to move on foot. Because it's still decently early in the day, right? Like midday?
It's only about 10 in the morning.
Okay. Were we given information, like, inside the city about where our supposed target is? I don't remember if we had any information besides they're in this city.
You were given sort of a block area of the city, which is roughly where you were posted up outside of.
Okay.
Kovac would get out and do a semi-decent sweep of, I don't know, are we like in a room kind of thing? What's the...
Best as you can would describe it is you are in the collapsed cavity of a school's auditorium.
Okay. Doorways at all? Near?
Getting out, first thing you'll note is your ability to see without any particular light source, even with your dark vision, is hindered by the immense amount of just the dust that has been kicked up by the van pulling in is still settling.
Okay.
But as you hear, even your hiccups are trying to start, but also not trying to start. It's a weird feeling. Even your minor noises, just the simple act of opening the back of the van to start pulling your various bits of material out, stepping out from the driver and passenger door, even those little noises are amplified and bounce back to you. And you are greeted as you begin to look around with the ash and sediment settling back down on the ground, and you look to the ceiling, this long set of tendril-like roots running and holding the structure together in almost this arch over you.
That's not creepy.
But they don't move, correct?
How long do you stare at them?
20 seconds.
I'm pretty confident they didn't move.
Okay.
Confident that they don't move or that they do move?
Pretty confident that they didn't move. I didn't say that they did or didn't. Or that they don't. I said that they didn't. I'm gonna leave that doubt in your heads.
Appreciated so much.
Yay, paranoia.
Yeah, effectively your range of vision is only about 40 feet out. Without any light source.
Does it make a difference that I have night eyes?
For you, it does. That lets you effectively now, depending on how long you guys, if you're sitting here for several, like turns of minutes and going through, letting the ash fully settle, not trying to kick up and move around with any rapid motions, like sprinting across the gym to go try and dunk a basketball kind of thing. Um, Eventually, is it Gage? I think that has it. I don't remember.
I'm looking. Apparently, I took it on both my characters, so they both have basically dark vision 60.
Okay, so behind their various masks, you each see this slight mutagenic shift as light gleams, much like a cat eye, um, picking up what little light there is. Your vision stretches out, and you do see that there are the sort of the standard like double doors you expect in most like high school gymnasiums. That are much like the ceiling and the walls are grown over by this thick root system. Um, and you were able to catch just to the bottom left of them about a 4 foot by 4.5 or so hole that's not like cleanly carved. Not cleanly carved in any way, shape, or form, but it's as if something has burrowed through. It's a very natural opening.
Mm.
I mean, my goal would not be to be here for too long, especially if we came in making some noise. Like, we can get out the crates, I guess. I don't know how large these are in terms of taking the equipment with us versus taking it all out of the packaging. I don't remember if the serum actually had like a smaller briefcase or it's just in this large case to access it.
There is a disconnect latch. It will not hold
Okay.
like the case, like the larger case itself, has a built-in power system, right? So it will hold the majority of the charge. Taking it away, you're pretty sure that the serum will stay in its usable state for about 12 hours before it needs to get back in that case to be charged back up.
How large and heavy is the overall case in terms of us taking that?
With the serums and the neutralizers inside, you're looking at about 3.5 by a half foot base, and that then stretches up about another 2 feet for like a briefcase.
Okay, it's not too bad.
That's still pretty big to be lugging around.
I mean, yeah.
Regardless
little,
of
had like little strapping points. It didn't come with a strap, but it has little strapping points.
I guess I'm just thinking in terms of if we're bringing the serum, like if we want to be able to make use of it, if we don't find our target in 12 hours, it's kind of wasted. But when we can slim this down to some, I don't know if anybody wanted there's what, 2 weapons in there. There was the suit. If anybody wanted to wear that in underneath armor if they were planning to use the serum to give some protection against it. I don't know if you guys remember the notes I posted out in Discord.
Mildly. What does the serum do again? It gives you like a +1 to an attribute?
To all of them, in theory. Okay. And it lasts for 2 to 3 hours, roughly, like a D4 +1. This is what I've been able to gather. So I'm not a medical person, so I could be, by chance, I could be completely wrong.
Do y'all have a trained medic with y'all anymore? I think it was Calvin, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we do.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't look at me.
And the serum has a potential side effect of a bad reaction of you reacting as if you were poisoned or even paralyzed for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so the suit was to help protect against your body rejecting the serum.
Right.
I do have a mild correction because I remember I was telling you that without my notes in front of me. it is the neutralizer that has a potential to basically overdo its effects and paralyze you. The serum itself can still poison you, but the neutralizer is what can poison or paralyze.
What is the neutralizer?
There is a second set. There's two syringes in there that they I can't remember if it was two specifically, but their whole job is to purge the body to try and safely avoid the poison condition if your body just can't handle
Okay.
the serum. But it may go a little spastic. Kind of like your white blood cells go, oh shit, reinforcements, kill everything, and just kind of shut you down for a bit.
For some reason, I thought that's what the suit did.
The suit lowers the con save that both of them will trigger.
Mm.
Does having been experimented on before in a similar way lower any con saves or increase them?
As you were not experimenting on with this particular line of drugs, we're going to go with no.
Yeah, my initial response would be, have you been experimented on with stuff like this? Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I remember this one.
I could ask, have you guys done this before? Is this a regular thing to get yourselves experimented on?
No.
Looks like Gage.
No, not officially.
Not officially.
So yeah, I mean, is somebody interested in the suit? That's an easy one to dispense out, I think.
I don't think it's going to be something either of my characters would benefit from.
I mean,
Okay, so you can't wear it under armor. Like, it should be non-restrictive.
No. I mean, the actual drugs themselves, I don't think are going to change anything on me. Because, like, even if I get a +1 in all my attributes, that doesn't change anything.
They also do have an effect. He just doesn't know what those effects are.
Yeah.
From my knowledge, it may make a difference. Yeah.
Things like toughen your skin up, improve your eyesight, improve your overall reflexes.
Does it do the same effect every time? Or is it random each time?
Or maybe...
Kovacs just in the back with her hand raised, like, so ready to put on a suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
So, Kovac closes up the van, so you just have to change in the ash and dust. Comes out with her, basically looking exactly the same, except you have, I'm sure most of us have seen gaunts, so you know, like the sort of rubber suit, how it comes up to the chin and runs along the jaw, pretty much that. As she finishes affixing her helmet.
Okay. Then we had the cryogenic gas and like a mine launcher.
Cryogenic gas. Like a cryo flamethrower? Is that what we're talking about?
Grenade launcher, more like.
Grenade launcher. So it shoots like cryo gas out of a grenade launcher. Gotcha.
Yeah, it shoots,
I thought it shot like
shoots like
orb.
a sphere out. It hits the ground and explodes out into gas.
Doesn't it only shoot like 60 feet away and the thing is like 40 foot or something like that? I remember it being extremely close if you shot it.
Yeah, if you're at the same level.
Yeah.
This sounds... I don't see a downside to this.
So from my notes, it was like a 40-foot range, and it affects a 5x5 area.
Okay. There's a difference between 40 and 60,
That's
to
a
be
little bit.
honest. Yeah,
I couldn't remember. I
that,
just knew there was numbers in there.
No, I'm just saying that makes a big difference. Honestly, I retract my original statement.
I did post in Discord a link. I replied back to my notes comment, so
Yeah,
it's all kind of there to look at numbers. I feel it would be helpful for you guys to have numbers in front of you, at least from what I know.
because let's see, if you shoot it 40 feet away, then it's going to come back 15, right?
He said 5, so 25 feet.
I thought it creates a 25-foot square, right?
Yep. Yes.
So that's a 5x5 square.
Oh, I thought it was 5 feet by 5 feet. If it's 5 squares, that's a lot bigger.
It's
Yeah,
big.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
what I
I
mean.
had issues with this. I remember because I'm like, it's you shoot it and it gets pretty close, but
Right.
that is on the same level. It did suggest. Well, I
Do
don't
we
know
know what the
what's this?
effects of it shooting something with
Extreme
this?
whole. I want to say it was like a freeze.
Rapid,
Like a
rapid loss of temperature in biological matter.
yes, that one. Thank you.
That's the mine launcher? I thought
the
there was a
gas emitter.
separate gun.
Yeah, it's different.
The cryo thing.
The cryo gun.
The
I mean, I
launcher
can.
was the different one.
The mine launcher is the one where it shoots decently far, but effectively can never be done with advantage.
Isn't it like a sticky mine too?
Correct. It can wrap around objects that it connects to.
I can remember this stuff, but I can't remember what I ate. Gosh darn it.
So sorry, it's the mine launcher that has the penalty to attack, not the cryo gas check thing. I guess I had it the other way around then. I can move that note. I mean, I can take either one.
Okay, well,
It's heavy.
I do
Or
have
none.
one question. What classification are these guns?
Oh yeah, like heavy, super heavy, two-handed.
The cryogas is a heavy two-hander. The sticky mine launcher is a one-hander heavy. If I remember.
I thought you said it was like a similar to a sawed-off shotgun, one hand kind of style. I think that's what I remember you saying. Yeah.
Is it a two-handed small arm or a heavy weapon?
Yes, it would be a small arm. Again, your GM did not put.
Right. If it's similar to a sawed-off shotgun, that would be a one-hand small arm, because I have that equipped on one of my characters, because it falls under that classification. But again, it's up to you if you want it to be one or two-handed small arm.
What is the grenade? Grenade launcher is two-handed, right?
There's
The
two
little
grenade
bullpup,
launchers.
yeah, the little bullpup, like the single shot, is one-handed too.
We'll roll with it being a two-hander.
Okay.
That way you have your stabilizing arm and all that jazz. But the cryo is a heavy.
Right. And the mine launcher was the two-handed smaller. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that affects y'all's decisions.
Right. I'm pretty well equipped with what I'm probably going to be using. If I need to carry any of these, I can, but I don't shoot heavy weapons at all. I don't shoot them well. I mean, I can shoot anything you give me. Yeah.
I can shoot it well. Ish. Well, I should shoot it well. We'll put it that way.
That worries me a bit if you're standing behind me shooting over my head.
Yeah.
Who said she'd be behind you?
Yeah. Here's the thing: if any of you guys are carrying it, I can shoot this gun.
Mobile tripod.
Basically, she's like, I can't carry the gun, but I can shoot it.
Yeah.
After
I can't.
offering, I mind you, to carry the gun.
I said if I have to carry it, but I'm not going to be very good at shooting a heavy
Okay.
gun.
And then,
But
of course,
I'm just.
so each of the weapons themselves do have a sling attachment for carrying purposes. The cryo launcher and mine launcher, they are loaded with their self-contained loads. You do not have backup ammo for them. That what you've got is what you've got.
So it's just 6 shots and 4 shots total.
6 shots, 4 shots.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. I guess you didn't mention that. Okay. I mean, I think if people would use it, I mean, it gives you area attacks. It's the cryo could be good if he's controlling fire to snuff out fire in an area, and
Yeah.
that could be effective.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about snuffing out the fire with the cryo.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the point where we're looking for the target, or are we looking for the dog tags? Or is that the same general place? I thought they were 2 separate places.
They're 2 separate places. You weren't in the meeting, and I don't know if Tanaka mentioned the individual he spoke with very early in the morning before you all departed. Did you even mention to the crew that you had a dog tag objective, Moana?
I don't know that I did.
Okay.
So at this point, she assumes we're going for target.
Most of the conversation you're hearing is them trying to pick out how they're going to narrow down the target's location, stuff like that.
And then she would, I mean, again, raise her hand. Don't carry the heavy weapon. Doesn't really have a heavy weapon of her own at the moment.
There's the machine gun that you were requisitioned.
Was I? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, both you and Wada got a medium machine gun.
Okay, I have to write that down. I wasn't sure if that was given to me or not.
With 6 full loads of ammo each.
So really, if you want all the ammo, you can, because I have something that to me works better.
She physically will not be able to move with all that ammo.
I was about to say, I don't know how heavy that is, but I don't think I could do that even if she wanted to.
Yeah, I guess I missed that we were getting machine gun for me when I've got one. I think it's trying to nail down, like, if people are going to use these weapons, call it out, take it, and then we can get moving. Probably something that, we should have been discussing in the van on the way, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
What page is the machine gun on so I can add it?
I think I would use the sticky mine launcher as like a planning thing.
121, thank you.
One about the middle of the list.
Thank you. It was the medium one?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're right. Other things to note, you currently do not have any scan systems active. The drone is still sitting in its case. You still have your canvas tents and all that if you're going to set up somewhere.
I know that Kovac, I want to keep calling her Rayev. Kovac would ask if they want to bring a serum and a neutralizer with them, since she's got the suit on, and you never know when she would be willing to take it herself, since kind of reason she put the suit on as well. Since was she ever told that the suit equals?
You were driving for the most part, so you got bits and pieces, but you do know that it is a physical and mental enhancement.
The serum.
Sarah.
She would to discuss her interest.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can take we can disconnect and take like half the doses. It sounds like,
Yep.
because it would potentially help me a bit as well.
Medium machine gun 300.
Okay. Wada, as you lean over the KM box, there's a hiss click as the smaller portion detaches. You put back 4 of the doses. Wait, what did I say? 6, 8. Yeah, so 4 of the doses. Before quickly
Well,
filling it back up.
it sounds like only 2 of us are potentially taking them, and I don't know the benefit of a reason to inject somebody with it if they're wounded. Like, it doesn't seem like, I don't know that it would give any extra protection against, like, to help them survive grievous wounds or something. So I think just 2 doses and 2 neutralizers. Assuming like I can split it that way, that they fit.
You still have the misfortune that the transport container is still just as massive.
Sure.
But yes, you were able to take your 2 and 2.
I'm just thinking in terms of leaving it so that we've got more that will last longer in case this drags out. And then I would look to disconnect it right as we look to walk away,
Okay.
just so it gives a little bit extra time. Okay, so it sounds like Finn was after the mine launcher. No one was necessarily interested in the cryo grenade launcher. Is that accurate?
Not really.
I don't think the cryo is the grenade launcher, more like a flamethrower.
No, the cryo
No,
is a grenade. It shoots out a sphere that, when it hits
A
the
freeze
ground,
grenade.
shatters and fills the area with gas.
I never got that part of that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like the gas freeze grenades. Frost grenade, that's what I'm wanting to think of. You said the ammo for the medium was how much? How much do we each have again?
There's a total of 12 full loads of ammo. That's not including the one the gun comes with. So 14
Okay, so
in total.
gun. Okay, she'll probably only take. Oh gods. How heavy are each of them?
That is a damn good question. I don't know if they listed ammo weight.
I also realized I don't have ammo except for what my other guns came with. So I'm like, whatever the clip is in for that, that's what we got for that, or that's what she's got for that.
That's a darn good question.
I'm trying to think of what a standard, like, this could be a heavy situation go out with, and if she can carry 6 and not be.
Each ammunition is 0.25 pounds.
So each bullet is
quantity of it.
0.25?
That would be crazy heavy if it's a quarter of a pound a bullet.
Well, like,
Well, I
rounds
was
are
asking
20.
because a fourth of a pound for 300 bullets sounded.
Yeah, that's part of it is if it's just per clip, yes, a machine gun has much more per clip than like a pistol. But they probably aren't factoring that completely in.
Yeah.
Pistol, machine gun, traditional bullets, caseless rounds, and ESP bullets are all 80 per pound.
You're looking at about 5 pounds a box.
Okay. I don't know. Carrying capacity.
We'll worry about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
You for sure can carry quite easily 3 of them due to your equipment, rucks, what have you, has the ability to distribute the weight evenly, and that's with the weapon loaded with a 4th.
Okay, I will carry
Not
the
carrying
3
much
extra.
more beyond that.
Yeah.
Over
Well, I
here,
have
all Rambo style.
3 total, so what's loaded and then 2 extra.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Gage, as you've been sort of the Warren going through like his requisition list, making sure that he's got the gear that he's told you all he's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Gage, you're able to sort of sweep the area around the van, kind of waiting for everyone to get their ducks in order, and you catch attention to that hole again,
Mm-hmm.
to movement. Something fairly large slithering into the hole out of the gymnasium.
Something just slithered in that hole over there. Something big.
Well, that's not our target. Maybe we can lock it up and get moving. Probably the less we disturb, the better. And hopefully they're not smart enough to go warn the others that they saw us. I'm hoping these are more creatures than sentient threats.
They did say back. Oh wait, no, I wasn't there. Never mind.
I mean, out of character, you can remind him of something he may have forgotten.
Out of character, the guy told you they were starting to seem as if they were planning things or like acting upon a plan. I don't know this in character.
Yeah, I mean, was this hole somewhat close or it's a good ways off?
It's
40, less than 60.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is we try to stop this thing and we are opening fire now, or we get moving and maybe they lose a bit track of us. Because, I mean, it's either start running and gunning or try to move stealthily.
Was it coming in here?
It was going into the large hole over there that probably only I can see.
So more leaving.
More leaving than coming, but
if it don't bother us, we don't bother it.
Yeah, that's the only worry is if they go to set up a trap or, get ready for us. But we're trained for it. And I think if we go and we shoot it, then everybody knows we're here. Like, you can only silence. Like, a machine gun, it cannot be silenced.
I can try screaming and distract from the sound of the machine gun.
That's just more.
You could always mine it.
I mean, explosion's going to be loud as well.
That might take down the roof as she points up to the vines that she is not sure are holding the roof up very well.
Yep. I think we just slip out.
Nature's rebar?
No, we are being very aware that nature can say fuck you at any moment. That is what we are saying. We are respecting the power nature has.
Is this place even part of nature?
Nope. Nothing here looks natural.
Was that Gage saying it or Warren saying it?
That was Gage.
Yeah. For the record, the other three of you, the Gage and Warren both noticed it, but they had not mentioned because it didn't seem to be a threat. This is the first time y'all are seeing the hole next to the overgrown doors that lead further into this building structure.
Is that where we're supposed to be going through, is these overgrown doors?
I mean, you can go back out the way the van came and into the city out on the open road.
Okay.
On the open road.
I mean, if we're still traveling several blocks, going through buildings is going to take a whole lot more time.
Yeah, and more likely to run into something. But at the same time, easier to stay concealed.
Yeah.
But I'm more for speed than quiet.
Nope.
My
Let's move
vote's
in.
always quiet.
Quick and silent. Do both. You can go out, sit outside, and try to figure out, get the lay of the land, find our target as soon as we can. Just
Yeah.
take cover.
Kovac, you would need to set up one of the handful of tablets that you all have with you, with the software that was in the passenger seat's console. It would not have quite the
I
range or reach, and of course you are then limited by battery life. But I remind you, no one's messed with the drone yet. It does have an explicit scout system.
It'd be helpful if we could just search for us. Like they would know something's here, but not know where we are.
wasn't
Check
told
it out.
drone or its scout system, so she'd
Yep.
probably be saying, "Hey, I'm gonna take a minute, set up a scanner on this tablet."
Okay. I mean, yeah, the drone was mentioned, like, as we were discussing, like, here's what's available. I just didn't, like,
Okay.
there's 3 different modes. I just didn't go into specifics because I'm not reading that technical manual. So, yes, that's something, I mean, I guess I was mentioning that at the beginning of this conversation, assuming that she was going to dive into that because I think that's a good fit. And I don't know that anybody else is real adept at drones or mechanical
Yeah.
So,
machinery.
I'll take all the fun toys. Like, is a drone a ground vehicle or an aircraft?
I haven't opened the case yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, ask permission. Sarge, can I pull out the drone?
Go for it. Enjoy.
Very happy, Kovac.
See if we can like autonomously scout. That'd be great. So we could just hold up and get ready.
Like, I want to point out, like, at no point, like, the most that has happened was Tanaka, like, flicked the case open. Yep, that looks like a drone, and closed the case.
Oh, really?
That's like all he did.
Well, she'll open the case, grab the manual if she sees it, and
Okay. So,
quick read, not a super in-depth read.
as previously noted, the modular drone that you are looking at is a scout, offense, defense. Those are your 3 setups. A-hole rolls out. God, no. No. Oh.
Best drone.
Jawa comes
Are
chasing
we
after him.
are we all supposed to be sneaking around?
Not
Oh.
yet.
Just Muada?
Mwata, I believe, is like poking around trying to get a gauge of what's going on outside the building.
Okay.
I was getting ready to move out, but we're holding up for the getting ready with the drone.
Effectively, upon launching out of the case, you pick which of the 3 settings. It cannot change once it's out and about. It has to come back to operator and be cycled through its setup. Scout means it drops all but 1 gun. It is, at that point, a super lightweight aerial device taking up as little space as possible to get in and out of various locations. The pretty ballin' camera system.
Mm-hmm.
With thermals, the works. The offensive system throws all of that nimbleness out of the window, puts on 2 machine guns and 1,200 rounds of ammunition, and just slowly buzzes towards its target. This mode also includes a self-destruct system. Obviously, it cannot come back from the self-destruct system.
I remember that one.
The defensive system, it drops again down only to the 1 gun, fairly close range with a shotgun blast, but can be a mobile deployable shield capable of taking small to medium grade weaponry. So you have air,
She'll
hover, and ground.
she'll ask Sarge, "Are we going in hot or are we being quiet?"
Quiet for now. We don't want to pick up more heat than we have to.
Got it. She'll stealth mode it. Oh, come on, stalker mode? No, scout. Thank
Scout
you.
mode. Okay.
Fly mode.
Scout mode.
I once again can't open up character sheets. I wonder if this is just a program. What did they break? I
No, is
assume
it like
y'all are
handheld? I just
Um,
got mine in the Adobe. I didn't know if mine was ready or not.
Yeah.
this would be an engineering check.
Engineering +5.
Okay. So you watch as Kovac, like very quickly scanning and flipping through to the manual, just devouring the techie jargon. Flicks a couple switches. You hear hoses disconnect. The quick whirring of motors as this 1 foot by 1 foot drone quickly hovers up at head height. The box itself, the back, like the internal of the lid, the screen clicks on with the three primary camera systems, thermal, night vision, which doesn't. It actually looks really good here in the darkness of the room, as well as a normal HD, uh, just high resolution camera. You got a
We have
little
a
joystick.
battery life.
The battery life looking at the scouting mode. You've got 2 hours. You're pretty
All
sure
right.
that just going through the combat mode, the offensive mode will be a quarter of that just from the sheer weight.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, the guard mode, actually operates for 4 hours. As all it is doing is just rolling it across the ground, holding itself up.
Okay. Is it able to go into like a standby where I can carry it or like?
It requires the case in order to operate.
Okay.
But it in and of itself has about a 5 mile range in current mode.
That's a nice range. I'll go over to Sarge and relay the information and ask him where he wants me to take it first. Or if he wants me just to deactivate it for the moment.
Poor thing. It's just finally got to wake up from its nap. It's ready to go. He's like, yeah, so am I putting it back in the box?
Well, she wants to make sure you have to activate it, test it out, fly it around a little bit, see how well it works, go through the systems. She's also
Sorry,
and I'm asking first.
I didn't. Well, I mean, our group is. Well, I guess she'll learn. Our group. I think I try to keep everybody autonomous. As we get out on missions like this, chain of command is not always reachable. I didn't catch everything. I was doing a little bit over here, but if it's not that loud as a scout, like if we can send that out to scout for us, especially with some height, if we can narrow down where we're searching. The difficulty is I don't know what we're looking for. I'm not any of us know what we're looking for to try and narrow down where exactly the target's at. So we might have to make ourselves known to some degree. But maybe sending out the drone will draw a bit of attention and that can help us. zero in.
2 hours, a 5-mile radius, and a bunch of fancy cameras.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say take it out, take it up,
I will note
fly.
you can hear your conversation bouncing off the walls. You barely hear the faintest like whir of the rotors inside the drone.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'd say then. I mean, if our conversation's echoing, we need to go elsewhere um, to talk. But then definitely send that out. Like we can find a place to hole up where we can talk without causing a problem, and let that scout.
All right.
Hopefully, the cameras can find something for us.
That is what I shall do then. Look for a safe temporary setup.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check at advantage
Perception at advantage. Where is my
as you guys
perception?
watch this drone. Kovac sitting down like a gleeful kid with a machine at her controls, and the drone just whisks out of the auditorium. I was gonna say I saw the three, and then crashes into a tree.
I was like, thank you, advantage. Thank you, it's advantage.
Um, as you're sitting here out here on the outskirts, the drone buzzes by several deteriorating, collapsed buildings, most of which were fairly sizable multi-story structures. Um, and it's within 4 minutes you manage to find somewhere that you can't get the van in, but um, it's a defensible location raised up on the second floor with open sight lines to the north, east, and south. The west, unfortunately, does it goes into the collapse of the building, so you don't have a sight line there. And 4 minutes flying as a drone is about a 10-ish minute hike with all your gear.
Wave over Sarge and point it out. You said I had a radar on that?
You do. You just gotta flick
I
it
would
on.
I would flick that on as well to see what's going on in that sector area.
North of the drone's current location, you are immediately pinged with what looks to be about a pack of four medium-sized life forms. They don't seem to be moving. There's no immediate visual without moving the drone from its current location. Um, Aside from that, well off in the distance, you see on what looks like on the silhouette on the high res cam, um, a collapsed library with, and you outright see large lizard-like creatures, sort of. They would be sunbathing if the sun wasn't clouded over by the volume of dust in the air. But they're just out there, just lounging, enjoying the day.
Well then.
From there on, it starts to get more and more intense as far as signal registry goes.
Anything between our location and the drone's location?
You draw the drone just a little bit away from its location to get its sensors better positioned. Give me a computer use.
Computer use. Wrong. Plus 5.
Uh, this is like right as Mawada's leaning over because you had just called him over to like, hey, yeah, I think I found a spot, and you just killed all three cameras. Takes about a minute for you to get them rebooted. Basically, Mawada, what you saw as you walked over and she hit like the power saver button.
Just give it a minute. It's got some bugs. bugs in the system. Trying to
Mhm.
look that up.
2 minutes go by. The cameras are back up. You slowly start panning around, and you can see the auditorium that you're in up on like the arch that is just over the van. A what at a glance looks like just a mound of debris, but as you catch it with the high resolution, there's a raising and lowering of its chest.
Sounds like a movie.
Wait, there was a raising and lowering of what?
Of something breathing just over your heads on top of the roof.
She would go quiet, point at the screen, and then try to associate where it was in relation to them and look for it.
If you squint at the screen, you can see yourselves. You can see the van.
Well, and you said our voice was echoing off like the walls in here. Like that's when like I was saying I wouldn't stay here while we're scouting. Like find a place where we can move
that's what she
to
went to
talk.
That's
Oh,
what
okay.
we did.
She found a place. She called you over saying, "Hey, I think I found a spot."
And
I
now
was
they're
And then
thinking,
like turn the drone around, and you see what looks to be a huge sleeping creature covered
okay,
in
yeah, I was just
debris.
thinking like immediately move out of this area as well. Like we can scout for a good place to hole up for a bit if we're going to be scouting for a while, but like let's not sit here and discuss it if our voices are carrying even here. Like we can start to move out. But okay, that gives us somewhat reason. So I'll just hand motion everybody. Let's move this way.
Does everyone follow
Can I?
your the senior orders?
I mean,
yeah.
if not, I troop on my mic
Can I try
for
to look
comms.
up and see what this thing is?
It is so you look up and you see the ceiling of the auditorium. If you look at the screen that Kovac is like directing y'all's attention to, the drone is currently hovering out there on a street and has zoomed back towards you guys and is looking at this creature that it's clearly had to have been there for at least a little while. As you see this large reptilian black form curled up, sleeping away. As you begin to gather your things up and stealthily make your way out from the auditorium.
Yeah. Do I have to fly the drone back, or can I put it into like autopilot to keep it there so I have a good visual?
It has a hover mode. It's a little clunky trying to move the actual crate whilst using it.
How
As in
wonky is it?
disadvantage on your stealth check.
I feel like I already have disadvantage on my stealth checks
I'd
or
imagine
something.
you do. Probably.
Oh, that doesn't hurt.
I got a +2, but I don't see anything that I. You know what? I'm gonna ask this. I want to use one of the "Is it stupid" to move out while still using this.
It is most likely the better course of action to not be here if that creature wakes up.
So I won't take the time to call the drone back and whatnot. We'll take the disadvantage on stealth. Then drone. Yeah, because I have to keep the case open. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what we'll do. Not be here when the creature wakes up means move out faster. Got it.
So I've got Finn's stealth so far. Everyone else?
I'm working on it.
2 1 2
leaves the boys.
Boink.
Okay. As you find yourselves several minutes later, coming under where you see the drone gently listing up and down in its spot, hovering, you glance back over your shoulders and are able to catch yourselves with a little bit of relief as you see this creature sort of roll over and sort of start working on, resting on its other side, getting a little more comfortable. It is slightly bigger than your van.
Holy shit.
I mean, that's
It's a
big, but I
lizard.
mean, pretty sure we've seen bigger.
She hasn't.
That's what she said.
Not this time. But under Kovac's guidance, you are able to get to the building that she had scouted out. And as you set the case back up and get the sensors back up, that is the largest life form in about a 4-block radius.
Is it about the same size as the ones that I saw over yonder on the roof sunbathing?
Those are like out, sort of in a courtyard area, and those are
Uh.
barely bigger than like a person. Still big, but
So that one eats those ones. Got it.
probably.
It's probably
is
the
it-
female one.
Probably. I would want to get to sit once we set up in the area. Assuming did we reach it? Sorry, making sure
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Once everything's set up, I would like to turn the high res back onto that creature to see is it similar to the bulls that we ran into, or is it just a really big lizard?
So, as you guys get effectively your fob set up here within the building, as noted, for tactical purposes, you have the north, east, and south sight lines pretty much wide open, running down what looks to be old streets. And as Kovac takes over a little corner, gets the camera set up in a fairly decent orientation, the drone lifts a little more in line, zooms in, and effectively what you are looking at is just a huge drake-like creature. 4 muscular, powerful legs, a not incredibly long, but almost crocodilian like tail. The snout curling up into what looks to be almost a ramming point.
I've never seen anything like this.
There is a take picture button.
Oh yes, definitely taking picture.
You just hear one solid little click.
Flash.
Please no.
Oh, the temptation, but no.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
feel
that
like
evil.
in scout mode it would disable flash automatically.
Yeah, offense mode has the flash on all the time.
That's why the battery life is so short.
It does have a flashlight mode, which for your Nat 1 I almost turned on you.
Oh gods. Thank you for being kind.
Yeah. So effectively, you're set up in your what works decent as a operating area. To the north, to those who are looking, you have again that library building, which itself, much like the high school, is mostly grown over by that black root system. The pack of lizard-like creatures hanging out in the courtyard. At this point, as you guys are settling in, whoever is physically there watching sees two of the larger individuals start to have a bit of a spat between them. Um, the smaller of those two eventually sulking off and beginning to patrol away westward. Coming narrowly close to where you were all hidden.
It seems like they're patrolling, like these lizard things, is what we're saying.
Give me an insight check.
I would keep it on the patrolling ones, not the fighting ones, as much as I would love to watch.
Well, is one of the ones that fought that went off to do the patrol.
Oh, okay.
But with that scope and with the drone following and giving you a better view, you do see its head sort of sweeping, its nose raising to the air.
I would share my thoughts that these things might be pretty smart and they might be working together, which means that they probably are feeding information to our target one way or another.
It is at this point that you are probably grateful that there is a dead wind, so your scent is not carrying all too far. As it fully passes your building and continues on, the drone still following?
More so turning to watch, not wanting to get close in case it, like, the movement of the ash catches from the propellers catches the eye of it.
Okay.
Sort of keeping track where it is until it's until either it's A, extreme danger, or B, not as much as a threat.
Okay. About you steady the drone just on the west side of the building, giving you that sight line that you otherwise lacked, and you watch as the creature hunches down, lowering its belly against the rock, its head darting side to side, before seeming to lock on a grown-over car or some kind of smaller truss chassis of subsystem, and you see the faintest image of what looks to be a person. A person who the ever so sensitive mic you hear on this, they're revealing a little ear jack that you can plug in, releasing a string of expletives as they start to try and run, and you watch as this creature pounces, launching themselves 15 feet with a single bound and onto this person.
If I'm catching this, I'd say that we can observe, but we can't rush out to save them. That jeopardizes our mission.
I have a gun to distract it. Can shoot it. It's just one gun.
Yeah, I think that brings more heat on us while they're distracted. If you can scout around to try and find our actual target, this gives us some idea as to what they're capable of, what we're up against, and thus the quicker we're out of here, the better. Especially if they are actively scouting.
Got it.
Begin to draw the drone back and start your search in a fairly patterned system. And the last thing you catch as you see the man being dragged back to the library, the camera catches what looks to be 3 huddled figures that he had drawn the creature away from.
She would point that out to Mwada.
Which, Mwada, you recognize these are outcasts. These are people who refused, either themselves or their parents growing when the collapse happened refused to fall back. Like, there are still people living here in this city, just not well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know there's much we can really do for them. if they're choosing to live out here. Although their victim being drugged back to the library makes me curious if that's. I would think it would either be a nest or some sort of a base. If they're acting very intelligently, then our target could be near there, or it could just be like this animal's nest.
Do you want me to change course and scout towards the library?
Have you checked out the library at all yet?
Not only from a distance.
I think there'd be value in it then.
Well, it's occupied with something. Towards the library. I would try not to go directly over the creature's head, kind of try to skirt on what I may think is a safe barrier distance to not disturb things.
Okay. And I will note, you guys can visually, if you peek out the window, you can see the library from here, from where you guys are posted up. It's about a block and a half away, but you can make out some details just naturally. It's a very short trip before the creature effectively tosses the ragdoll of dinner into the pack of lizards. It is not exactly a pleasant sight, but those in the front are currently distracted if you would like to attempt to try and get into the library with the drone.
I'd ask Sarge.
Yeah, I was just calling to. I thought Finn had a sniper rifle, so if we could have line of sight to it, she could see what she can see. That way. Sorry, they're somewhat distracted in terms of getting in.
They're feeding.
I guess if there's not a better, like an upper floor way of entry, then that might work. The challenge would be that you have to be out while they're still feeding, or
I would like to quickly flip the scope to the radar.
Okay. Effectively, what the radar does is it would replace one of the 3 camera panels.
Okay.
You can either zoom in and only focus on one camera type, have all 3 up, and then you have the drone's diagnostics taking up the bottom corner.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can flip, the night vision at the moment is doing dick all.
I would swap out the night vision for the radar.
So
I probably wouldn't have the thermal up either because I feel like that would just be a bright screen. So diagnostics big on that screen.
Okay, so you have effectively the diagnostics taking up the entire left-hand side and you have an upper and lower screen of the high res and the radar. The radar is lit up from the block north of you and into the city up to the range of the sensors, which you would gauge is scanning about a mile radius around you. And again, pings that big mama back at the auditorium. The library itself looks to be fairly decently infested. Zooming in on its location, you gather at least 25 individual signatures, and that's not accounting for anything hiding under debris, anything that might be hindering the system from picking it up. As Finn, yes, you are currently on the 2nd floor. The 1st floor is effectively just useless. It's all grown in, fallen in. There is a portion of the 3rd floor of this building that would face northward, if you want to use that.
Okay, can I parkour my way up there?
Just give me an athletics check.
Did you have the runner ladder that can give you climbing? I thought you were a runner.
Yes.
It's like if you move 10, 20 feet, then she gets a climbing speed for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Just really share that with Matt.
Oh, then with a Then give me a stealth check. Sneaky running.
As I climb, I whisper, "Parkour."
Could have sworn we had all those hollow vids destroyed. So you guys watch Finn clambers up the broken bits and bobs of the building, pulling herself up onto the next floor. Here you are greeted, first and foremost, by what looks like a fairly well kept little space. There is a bedroll rolled up and tucked against the wall. There looks to be a small, heavily beaten up kettle.
So somebody else lives here.
You catch what looks to be very, very old at this point pillboxes. The labels long worn and faded. Inside of which looks to be balls of some sort of herbal something. Otherwise, you catch what looks at the very window. You would gauge a blind with about a 3-inch hole to look through.
Fun. I motion over to my companions that somebody lives up here. Over the comms. And then I toss down the little kettle.
Does it seem like they've been there recently?
Yes. Someone actively lives up here.
Could have been one of the three, one of those 4, now 3.
Yeah, but it's only one bedroll.
This is all coming over the like sub vocals.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if they come back, they'll notice us and stay away.
Maybe.
If not, we might have to subdue them if they want to fight.
I'm going to lay out my sniper so I can see the lizard area. That's what we're looking at, right?
The library, yeah.
Yeah, the library.
Okay, give me a perception check. Alright. So as you get the bipod set up, get yourself in a relatively relaxed crouch position, motion your scope to line up with the blind. You catch there on the what should be the second story of the library, a busted open window. As Scorgan gets Windows updated. I was like, man, I just seen he had left the campaign. Oh yeah, so you begin to line up the scope, and it's sizable enough that both the drone easily can get in there. It's incredibly dark. You don't make out any movement inside. But you did get a chance to look at the scanner, so you're fairly sure that there should be something either in that room or on the floor below it. It is
Okay.
also large enough that if you guys, as individual personage, attempted to get in there, you would be able to do so.
I would inform on the radar, seeing that there's a lot in there, and there's no guarantee that any way in is actually clear, that I wouldn't want to risk the drone trying to sneak into that library, especially with how active and intelligent these things seem to be.
Do I have a thermal scope to see that way?
You recall the last time you attempted thermal imagery here? All the dust and whatnot kind of hinders it.
Okay. So no night vision.
Night vision's fine. Night vision is green light. If I remember correctly, it's not actually a thermal.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember because I've tried to figure out why night vision was always green, and the human eye sees more shades of green than any other color. So it's green, invisible green light. I don't know how to exactly say what it is.
Welcome back, Skorgan. Oh, he's back
I
in the
didn't.
main.
I say he's not back in Discord yet.
But I will also note with your 15, you do catch what looks to be a rope hanging out of that window. With what looks to be knots, like this is someone has been using this to climb in and out with.
Okay. I relay that to the rest of the team.
Sorry, this is on the library building?
That is on the library, yes.
Okay, I was going to say that was my thought, is to try and get up to that window as well. That'd make it a whole lot easier for everybody else. Are we seeing anything at the library that makes us think that our target is there? Other than that, it sounds like there's a lot of stuff in the building, which doesn't sound great to go into.
I could scout that window out if it looks like someone has been actively using it. But
It
I
definitely
worry.
has. There are knots on the rope.
How much time do we have? How if I pan the camera down at the feasting beasties?
Well, first you get a less than describable scene.
Yeah. They still feasting?
The larger one seems to have glutted themselves and settle off to relax. Many of them are at this point fighting over the scraps.
Okay, so still somewhat busy, but not long. Not for long.
I mean, worst case is what, maybe, like if we're going to go in now, I don't know that it helps us to wait until it's dark. Typically, I think lizards can see semi-well in the dark.
You're also aware that this biological manifestation, most of them are more active at night.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering.
I just meant the drone going in that window.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking, like, if the drone isn't out, maybe it's not so bad, because if we do find what we're looking for, that we say, yes, this is where we're going, then find a semi-hidden spot for the drone just to set down, and then we can move in, and you can power the drone back up into, like, an assault mode, right? Or we could just go in and pick it up.
I mean, the library wasn't far away, so it'd be quick to pull back, reset it. So.
Oh, you have to, like, manually reconfigure it?
Yes.
It has to come back to the box.
It has to go back into the box.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if knowing that our target's there is probably more valuable than necessarily having the drone out before they're done feasting.
Then I will try to get the drone into that window.
All right. Is there a piloting skill? I know we used engineering prior to this, but I don't see a piloting.
Drive? I forget. Like, it comes to tool proficiency, I think.
Are you proficient with air vehicles?
Yes, I am.
You are? Go ahead, roll proficiency plus dexterity.
Dexterity. So that's +2, +4
I just saw
total.
your picture, Spaz. Like, you're welcome to try.
That's what I initially thought of.
Fuck, it's one of those days.
You get into the building, and by the time that you flip over to get the night vision up and running, the drone unfortunately catches a hard corner of the window itself and crashes into the ground. It is loud. It is noisy. Through its microphone system, you do having. I don't know whether you would plug your headset system into it
Yeah, I
yet,
would've.
but you do hear what sounds to be fairly decently sized bodies starting to move around. And as the camera itself, you see it get the drone kind of get flipped over as it's in the middle of trying to right itself, and the camera gets face to face with one of these lizards. It kind of sniffs at it, bats it several times, and walks away as the drone barely eases itself back to an upright position. You're
Guess
pretty
it's good that
sure
it's
that
not useful.
its steering is a little messed up.
Mm-hmm. I would be
As
looking over the
the
diagnostics.
diagnostics reveal that its forward left propeller is now running at less than half speed.
Am I able to move the camera without moving the drone? Like the drone itself?
It can. It itself has about a 180 visual without turning the drone.
I would do a quick, or a slow, rather, 180 limit to limit
Okay.
with
You
the
as the camera
infrared.
pans across the room, you see um, three of these creatures sort of laying curled up with each other, and you see the larger one that had just bludgeoned the crap out of the drone before realizing, I can't eat it, and just walking away. So that you know there are four in there, but most notably, in the corner where the three are sleeping, seemingly curled up in the fetal position, is what looks to be anywhere between a 13, 14-year-old child. And again, this is in green, that green scale night vision. But you catch long hair running over the child's face. They are a gangly little thing. And there's a flare against the camera's sensors. Um, the diagnostics begin to freak out, informing you of increased temperature readings in the room, and your camera dies. And that's where we fade to black.
Shit.
Was the child moving when this was happening?
Um, it was very, ever so slightly raising its head towards the drone.
Okay. Like, trying to check playback or something if we had it. Yeah, that was my thought.